Yeah. Brothers and sisters, got a fresh manna word for you from John chapter 11. Jesus had to flee to Galilee. He said he eluded the grasp of the religious people. They wanted to kill him for blaspheming. He didn't blaspheme. He was just saying who he was, the great I am in their midst. He eluded their midst because it wasn't time yet for him to be crucified. So he ran off into the desert with his disciples at Jordan, other side of the Jordan wilderness area, one of the 7 deserts of Israel. And they asked him about Lazarus, and he said he was asleep. And then they questioned him. He had explained to them that he's dead. Lazarus is dead. So we see in that conversation Yeshua had with his disciples in the desert. And it's in the desert you learn these things. It's in the desert truth comes. It's in the desert that, hallelujah, in your wilderness experience that he gets the wild out of you. He really recalibrates your thinking, not to think like the fear of man and the fear of this, and only to fear him. Hallelujah. And it's in those desert times. Hallelujah. That's why we're rivers in the desert, to get you in your desert so that river can deluge you of his glory presence. Hallelujah. But in that desert experience, they started to see things. And Yeshua was telling them he is the light of the world. Look at John 11. And then he says, we're going to go back to Lazarus and raise him from the dead. And Thomas said, let's go. He said to the other disciples, let's go. Let's go. We're going to be persecuted. We're going to be delivered up maybe. We could be stoned, but we're ready to die for him. And I love that, because this is the hour that we're seeing a separation between the real warriors and the pansies and the effeminate wannabes, okay, that populate the pulpits throughout the land and the airways of religious TV. What's happening is, he says, when my spirit comes upon you, Acts 1 and verse 8, you shall receive dunamis power to be my witnesses. We should translate it martyr. That's what Jesus said. You're going to receive my power on you to be my martyrs. And we're not hearing that. We're not hearing even Martyrdom 101 being taught in discipleship courses, on the airwaves, on the internet, in pulpits throughout the land. It's like people are afraid of death. People are afraid of being disciplined. People are afraid. They don't want their comfort zone invaded, and they're hearing a false gospel of prosperity and peace, and they're not even be taught the ways of the Spirit. So what we need to do, brothers and sisters, is recalibrate in this hour. Now, what's interesting about this episode in John 11 is, he says, didn't I say to you, well, Lord, Rabbi, my brother's been dead 4 days. He stinks. Speaking of Lazarus, he says, didn't I say to you, if you believe, you'll see the glory of God. So if we believe, we're going to see the glory of God. How do we want to bring the glory of God onto the earth? How do we want to bring his glory in and out of us? Okay, how can we glorify our Father? Number one is the resurrection of the dead. Hallelujah. Laying hands on the sick, going to ER rooms, going to emergency rooms, going to morgues as God leads you. Hallelujah. And raise the dead by his matchless, wonderful name of Yeshua, Jesus. Second, how do we glorify him is raising the dead or the sleepers. Okay? Sleep and death are the same Hebrew concept. Somebody who is asleep or died, or somebody who is sleeping needs to be raised up, is the same Hebrew word, kumi. Rise up from the dead. Hallelujah. Arise and shine, Isaiah 60 says. The word arise, shine is very strong in Hebrew. Kumi, va'ori, hallelujah. So, what glorifies the Father? Not just raising the dead, but agitating the slumberers. Whatever means that we begin to employ of raising our voice, of speaking the truth, of blowing the trumpet, of shaking things up in the religious order and waking people up in this hour, hallelujah, that are supposed to be awake and serving him. And it makes them upset, and it almost blasphemy to their ears, because their ears are not being tickled by their favorite echo chamber preachers. And by us taking on that persecution, we're glorifying him. Brothers and sisters, you want to glorify Abba? You want to bless him? Hallelujah. Then start getting fired up to wake up people that are asleep. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter how they respond. We're not here for a likes or dislike, okay? We're here to obey him. And what glorifies him is raising the dead, but also raising up the sleepers. Hallelujah. This, a few hours ago, I was in the pool here at Mile High R13 Training Center, and I got 5 stereo speakers underwater. And so as I'm doing the laps and putting in the mileage, cardiovascular, I'm hearing, man, the power of God is flowing in music like this right now. Hallelujah. May you wake up and start agitating the sleepers. Wake them up! Doesn't matter what they say. Abba will be pleased in your service to him. God is coming from Damon. You want to please him? Raise the dead. Agitate them. Rebuke. Reprove with all patience. For the time will come, they'll not endure sound doctrine, but gather to themselves itching ears of teachers. Wake it up, blow it up, hallelujah. It doesn't matter if they ostracize you, gossip, slander. It doesn't matter. You're glorifying Abba, waking up his bride from the slumber. I just got a phone call right before I started taping this of a former SEAL Team 6 Deb Grew operator, a good friend of mine, and his name is Craig Sawyer. He's actually running a anti-child trafficking, anti-pedophile network, and he's going into some places. And he called me and was telling me about, man, there's so many believers that need to wake up. And I told him, Craig, I know we glorify God when we're worshiping him, or we give, we love, we worship, but it's just as much worship of glorifying God to scream like a Marine Corps drill sergeant in people's faces to wake up that it's 911. And boy, did he get excited about that. Hallelujah. I said, go for it, brother. All right? We're being lulled to sleep by a effeminate gospel out there that's not from God, and we need to wake people up. All right? We need to be the screeching alarm clock in their ears to wake up so we can rescue these children, rescue lost souls, counter evil, counter terror in this hour. Hallelujah. Go for it, y'all. Time is short. Shalom. Love you.